Why is it recording already? All right. Call into order the Stormwater Task Force meeting. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Lunenburg Access YouTube after the meeting. This meeting will be held in person at the location provided on the notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. The following information is provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use this link, which is provided here, or from a telephone, call toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the meeting ID 792-737-0353. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and email address. No participant ID is needed. Just press the pound key when asked. Excuse me. Telephone users may dial *9 to request to speak after joining the meeting. Computer and app users may use the raise hand feature to request to speak. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open law. So I guess we open the meeting. And where do we go from there? We go to election of chair and vice chair.
Yeah, so no one, do you know who the vice chair was? Before Richard left? I can't find minutes online that past October 24th, 2019.
Whoops. Okay.
Well, I guess we're starting
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah.
I should have the meetings from them. If I can just look through my my folders and see.
Okay, would you be able to
Yeah.
tell Gail who the vice chair was? Because that would be the de facto chair if that person is still, at least for now. Yeah, so we are missing one member, Matt, and we have a vacancy because Richard's departure. I did reach out to Mary Wilson, who's chair of the Conservation Commission, alerting her to that we need a new rep from their commission. She brought it up at the last meeting. You can guess what the response was. No volunteers.
Sure.
They said they want to wait until they get the new member of the Conservation Commission in the hopes that that person will join this committee. No timeline on that, but don't hold your breath. So I think we will be four for the foreseeable future, and we need 3 for a quorum.
Okie dokie.
So this is my first ever Stormwater Task Force meeting. I was volunteered to be the select board rep in July, but after the July meeting occurred, and there was no meeting since then.
Okay.
So I'm coming in cold, so that's my way of saying, and plus I have a pretty full slate. I am not looking to be chair. And hoping one of you guys could take it on.
Yeah, I think I have room on my plate for that.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we don't have an acting chair, how do we make a motion? I guess I can make a motion to appoint Tim, how do you say your Wilsmer?
Yep.
As chair. of the Stormwater Task Force.
Anybody second?
Seconded.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I can second it.
No, you can't, I guess.
All in favor?
We don't have anyone to actually,
Unopposed.
There we go.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
and yeah, thank you. John, are you interested in being vice chair?
I don't know. It's just my arm, I would agree to it, but I can't commit to it at the moment.
Okay, I don't know what Matt's thoughts are. Can we postpone a vice chair until we have Matt?
See if Matt's
I
okay
don't
with
see
it.
why not.
If Matt doesn't wanna do it, then I'll be fun last on the list.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick the class.
Okay.
All right, so Tim, do you want to take over then?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Could I borrow? Yes, please. Okay, so that was it. We've got public comment. I don't think we have any members of the public with us,
Anyone else in the public?
There's,
so we will.
there's one thing on the chat here.
Is that Daniel?
Yeah, so she's saying Richard was the chair, but no vice chair listed. I didn't think there was.
We knew Richard was the chair
Yeah.
because he said he was the
Yeah.
chair and gone, and where's the agenda? I won't be there.
All right, next up, we have explanation of and goals of the Stormwater Task Force. Which is a question that I also have.
All right, and that's why I asked to put it on the agenda. So let's see. I put together a PowerPoint that kind of goes through agenda items 4, 5, and 6. So if you don't mind, I'll just go through that. And I'll share it up on the screen and on the Zoom. Let's see from the beginning.
Will you be able to make this available afterward?
I can, yep.
Appreciate that.
All right. Let me get rid of this.
Adam set up a Google Drive. Remember getting an email?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
there's the OneDrive.
Is Google or it's OneDrive? I think.
Is it OneDrive? I don't know.
Yeah.
Select Board's Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember getting something. I set up something months ago.
Yep. I'm sure I have a link here somewhere. So start with the basics. What is stormwater? So stormwater refers to any water that runs off after rain or snow. It picks up as it goes along. It's picking up litter, it's picking up bacteria, it's picking up chemicals and sand, and everything, right? And it flows into our drainage systems and ultimately flows into water bodies, right? This bunch of streams and lakes in town. That's where the water's ended up. So cleaner stormwater runoff means cleaner water for drinking, swimming, fishing, boating, and protecting wildlife. So I grabbed this, the mission statement of the Stormwater Task Force when it first set up. So the Stormwater Task Force is charged with the development of a comprehensive stormwater management plan that complies with state and federal regulations, provides a storm and surface water system that controls damage from storms, protects surface water quality, and protects the environment. The plan shall determine which local agency or agencies will have the responsibility for implementation, establish the estimated cost of the program, as well as provide for the creation of ongoing funding source to enable its success. So I kind of addressed 3 of these, the management plan and cost a little bit, and then funding. So the management plan has pretty much been put together. The town has hired CEI, Comprehensive Environmental Inc., and they've put together a plan. This document, I think, is 259 pages long. So it's quite the plan.
When was it?
This-
2022 or 20.
Yeah, prepared in 2019 and revised in 2022. So I just kind of put the table of contents, just so you can get an idea. Even the table of contents kind of big, right? That's something that is available on the drive we
Okay.
talked about. And, you know, the members should take a look at it at some point. So just over a year ago, at one of the first meetings I attended, they asked me to start tracking stormwater costs. So about once a month, I'll grab all the guys' timesheets and anything that I see stormwater related, I put into a spreadsheet. So this is just 1 month, right? Because spreadsheet's kind of big. And then down the bottom, it's broken down by month, a dollar total, a labor cost, and an equipment cost, and the number of hours. So you can see in 1 year, right? This is just in-house DPW costs. It's almost $67,000. So we're spending quite a bit.
And you've only been tracking, obviously, was it
Yeah.
tracked before you joined?
No.
And
No.
what's equipment cost? Is that rental?
And there are two.
Yeah, so I have the FHWA cost of all the vehicles. Right, so if
The wear
Yeah.
on our town vehicle?
on our specific vehicles,
This
yes.
isn't- Cause I know you've
Yeah.
talked in the past about getting that vacuum truck,
Mhm.
cause we don't have one.
Right, that would be nice if we had one. So it's from the so it used to be the rental blue book, now it's online, it's Equipment Watch.
Okay.
You have to have a subscription, but I had a friend who did it for me, so you know, I sent them all our vehicles and he put it all in, came back, so I got the hourly rates for the vehicles. So that's that, and then these are vendors that we have to hire. Right, and I kind of have two pots of money. I have a drainage line item, I have a stormwater line item. That's just the way my budget's broken out. But the
What's the
total,
difference?
not
How do
much,
you classify drainage versus storm?
not really, well, I think drainage was more for putting in pipes and fixing catch basins and manholes. The stormwater line was put in more for, to cover the cost of CEI. Our consultant,
But cleaning out catch basins?
yeah, if I have to
Would-
hire somebody,
Oh.
I put it under drainage typically. So in FY 23, spent $72,000. This year, though, with all the rain and the big storms, I'm already up to 104,000, and there's 6 more months to go, right, in FY 24.
And it hasn't snowed yet.
Yeah. Right. The September 11th storm,
Mhm.
I've spent around $75,000 alone just for cleanup after that storm. I can touch base, well, I guess I'm talking about it. MEMA was in FEMA had requested a bunch of information, so I put together a big package for them. I've been in touch with Mass DOT. They have a hand in it too. And so it's all kind of under review now. I don't know that they've declared this area a disaster where, you know, we get money. But we're trying. So hopefully we can recover that $75,000. So although they say you won't get as much as you asked for.
The September 11th storm, you said?
Yeah,
Which storm had the 7 inches of rain?
September 11th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was,
Yeah.
what you're saying was September.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously Leominster got it a lot worse than
Yeah.
us.
Yes.
Our worst was Gibson Street.
Mhm.
There's, I don't know if it's a brook, a name brook goes underneath. The water went around the pipe, so it undermined the road. So we ended up taking the pipe out, putting in a bigger pipe, larger size, and, you know, repaving the road. That was our biggest issue. But we had issues all over town. like in front of your house, where the edge of the road just washed out. You know, maybe it was 6 inches wide, 8 inches wide, maybe 2 inches deep, 6 inches deep.
What
And
road?
we ran around and just
Well, I
filled it
walked my
in.
dog. After that heavy
Yeah.
rainstorm, I noticed
Yeah.
that one of the neighbors had a washout of about 8 inches deep and about a
Yeah.
foot wide.
And that
Which
that
road
was
was that? Is that
I-
Island?
yeah, that was pretty common all around town. So we ran around and just filled it with, we call it trap rock. It's like 3-inch crushed stone. Filled it with that. That was our biggest expense. And
Okay. Or any catastrophe, so Gibson Street was catastrophe.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the worst. We didn't
Yeah.
end up closing the road, except for when we did the repair. So it was undermined, but not too serious. And we got right in there and
Were
did
there
it.
any roads that were underwater, kind of like John Fletcher or like Electric?
Electric Ave
It was
was
underwater.
underwater for a little bit, right near uh what is it, the gas station there,
Yeah.
Whale and Wash.
Yeah.
It was for this most recent storm too, it was closed.
Yes. We think we got in front of that one now. There was a beaver problem there. So we got rid of 2 beaver dams. And then we thought that solved it, but no, the water still didn't go down. So we jetted out the lines and we got this big ball of sticks and vegetation and everything else that
Wow.
once we got that out, the water just,
I don't know
Flew through.
Electric Ave ever flooding before, so this is new.
yeah,
And you think that that ball of mass was really
oh yeah. Yeah, the water
Close.
wasn't moving.
new cause, no
Yep.
pun intended.
Mhm.
It was probably a beaver. that
It was
put there,
beavers that
yeah.
put it in there. Yeah, there was logs, I don't know, 3 feet long and, 6 inches in diameter, chewed on both ends.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They took
it was
that.
jammed up really good. So, should be all right there now.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Okay.
do a little more work to, on the opposite side of the road, on the Unitil side of the road. Try to open up the drainage on the side there.
Doesn't Marshall Pond flood? Or was that Chestnut Street?
It got pretty high, again, beavers over there.
Yeah, that's what made
Yeah.
me think of it.
Yeah. So a lot of places will put a grate system in
Mm.
front of the pipe.
Mhm.
So the beavers kind of build around that, so we can go in with the backhoe, pull the grate out and then pull everything out. But yeah, at Marshall Pond, the beavers, they like mud over there, not some places all sticks, there they like mud. So they mud the whole front of it right up. I could, when I share my spreadsheet with you,
Yeah.
although I don't get too specific, but we're over at Marshall Park. And,
You sent me one spreadsheet. after
quite a
capital
bit.
planning.
yeah, quite a bit. At least once a month, sometimes more. All right. So the other part of the mission was the funding source. Right, so the task force is supposed to find a way to fund some of this stormwater work that we're doing. So they recommend a way as a stormwater utility enterprise fund. So that's something we need to work on. I didn't put any detail there. That's something we have to work out. But it's really something we should get going on.
That's a
know,
long process, just based
it-
on this little bit of reading I did tonight.
Yeah. Right, so right now, all the funding's coming out of the DPW budget. Right, along with everything else the DPW does. Right, and we're approaching $200,000 a year just in stormwater costs. So that's a good chunk of my budget. So it'd be nice to have a stormwater utility that could pay for some of this, maybe pay for personnel, pay for some equipment. Pay for some of the repairs and maintenance.
But that's kind of just addressing things as they pop up, like long-term. I don't know, I don't know what is out there in terms of information, experience, what other places have done in terms of getting ahead of it. Instead of just, I
Yeah.
mean, cause storms are getting bigger.
Mhm.
More often, we're getting several inches of rain in one storm, and seems like we're getting more I felt like we got more rain than snow last winter.
Right,
Um,
Yeah, well, the only way to get ahead of it is throw a lot of money at it, so.
Right, but. I mean, who are the what resources are there in terms of this engineering company that did the master plan, is that?
Yeah, they can help us with setting up the utility, yes.
Or just in terms of what types of improvements to infrastructure to get ahead of it and more longer term looking than. We have to, check for beaver dams at our drainage pipes, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it comes
Yeah.
with the planning board too, how much impervious surface we have, like the current regulations.
That's something we've been discussing there is what our. Like requirements for that are, and does it even make sense at this point to keep things on a like. Neutral basis when we know storms are continuously getting worse and like. Yeah, no, we're just touching on the edge of that at the moment on the planning board.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah.
you can't retroactively change.
Oh,
codes
yeah.
on but.
Yeah.
So the problem we have is the problem we have right now, that's not gonna.
Yeah. What? So the mission statement that we have here, when it talks about like finding funding and creating like a source of funding, what exactly is that? I think that's the part that trips me up the most on this is like, is this something that we are looking to other organizations or federal funding and trying to get grants or funds from those? Just kind of in general, I'm not quite sure I understand what the statement is.
right, so I think in this case, the statement means setting up some kind of enterprise fund, meaning that money can only be spent there.
Sure.
So different towns have done it. One of my suggestions is let's bring in one of those towns, right? Talk to their people, how did you get it set up? How do you charge people? What's the charge? There's different ways, right? What was the public participation like, right? Because people are just gonna say, oh, it's another tax, right?
It's another bill.
Yeah, it's another bill, right? So
That's what I.
you need the buy-in, right? So it's a process, and
Would it be a separate bill or be rolled into like the tax bill?
a lot of towns put it with a sewer bill, come out quarterly, or do it twice a year, or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of
Right,
people don't, very few
true.
people have a sewer bill.
Yeah, true. That's true in this town, yeah.
I can't help but feel
Yeah.
if we lumped it in with the taxes, it would be
Yeah.
easier to sell. Because it'd just be a line item in the budget,
Mm.
a separate bill.
And there's overhead to have another, to send out a separate bill,
Yeah.
to have
Right.
us manage a separate
Mhm.
fund.
Yeah, that's why a lot of towns tack it on with something else that's already going on. But that's something we gotta work out.
No, we can't even do it, because
Yeah.
that's not even part of the town,
Yeah,
the water.
right. Not
Um,
everybody has water. So.
yeah, I have so, I mean, I just started, I told, like, literally the 5 minutes before I came here, I just did a Google search on what towns have stormwater utility and, and I saw a few things about, residential versus commercial, how that rates, because like the parking lot, it won't, I mean, talk about impervious surface, I mean, that's like huge compared to a single family
Right.
home
Mhm.
with a driveway. I
Right,
don't know how
so-
that's dealt with, for example.
Right, there's different ways, you can calculate how much impervious surface and charge so much per square foot. So, your little house won't
Yeah,
have a big bill, but Walmart,
yeah,
a substantial bill.
which is. That has pros and cons
Mhm.
to hit businesses hard, especially
Right.
if there's a small business, but.
Sure.
And how does, how the rates decide, how do you?
Yeah,
I,
that's what we have to work out.
so.
And-
I actually Is that okay if I use it?
I
Okay.
should be okay, I just checked it out.
Okay.
All right, we're back.
And Matt, I don't know if it's both of his emails, because I don't know. Oop. Um,
Anyway, I guess we're working. You want me to continue?
Yes, please.
All right. So what are the benefits of an enterprise fund? And well, the EPA, we have the MS4 permit. There's a lot of requirements there, so that'll help us meet those requirements, paying for them. It'll improve our quality of our water. We can develop a stormwater management master plan, kind of what you were hinting at, right?
Yeah.
Where are we, where we're going?
Yeah.
It would help us with regular maintenance. So right now, one of my goals this year was to do 25% of the roads to be swept and 25% of our catch basins to be clean. I got the road swept, but I didn't get the catch basins. I didn't even come close. I don't have the manpower. So the
Is it
enterprise
personnel
fund,
or equipment or both?
mostly personnel.
Really?
So it's hard to hire right now. I'm sure you've heard.
What is it, Marcus?
Uh,
Is it because we're offering not enough money, or is it because?
that's what a lot of people tell us. Yes, I got a good number of applicants, and when you tell them the range and where they're going to get paid, a lot of them say no, I'll look elsewhere. And then we do hire somebody, and then they leave, and well, why are you leaving? Well, I got another higher paying job. So it's been tough. So
Well, this is why I got last time I went to the town meeting in
yeah,
high school.
yeah, and that's what I'm seeing here. So at one point, I had a full staff, which is a superintendent and 5 equipment operators. At that point, that's when I got the sweeping done, and I got a lot of the catch basins clean, but nowhere near as what we should have. What else? So another benefit is the long range planning of drainage projects. So we can be a little bit more cost effective and prioritize them, in order of need. And, supplement the DPW budget. Then kind of built into the next item agenda was ongoing item, asset management grant.
Mm.
So the grant is complete now. So we got the grant because we had some data on our GIS system, but it was not full, and we didn't have any vertical data. So, we knew catch basin might be there, but we didn't know what depth it was. We didn't know, the elevation to the invert. Didn't know any of that. So this grant collected that type of data, and they ended up putting it into our GIS system, and they have their own app. It's their web app, which shows all the data that they put, and I can go into the app. So if we, clean a catch basin, I can go in and say it was clean on this day. We took out this much material. So we could start tracking some of the work we're doing. Right now, everything's just done on paper sheets. So I just have a stack of papers, they cleaned this catch basin, and, took out so much.
Now, did the grant pay to collect the data?
It did, yeah, so it
That
was,
was what the grant was for.
yes. And again, it was CEI that did the work.
Are there any grants out there to pay for any of this work to replace, clean, maintenance, whatever, repair?
Maintenance,
When
I
it
don't
comes to
think so, but
stormwater specifically.
I haven't seen anything from maintenance. But there's probably grants out there for culvert replacements, kind of looking at one now. Some of them are specific though, they might say it's, for fish or something, or. But there are some out there. And that's something the task force should be looking into, I think. So the data was collected between April and September. They weren't in every week, but they were in and out when it could. And it was mostly around Kilburn Street, Lancaster Ave, the Whalum area, concentrated over there. And they actually looked at just over 1,000 features, catch basins, manholes, and pipes. But that's only about 25% of our entire system. So we can apply for this grant again. I think he said in June, I think. So we'll definitely do it again. Apply again. Hopefully we get it to keep expanding our system, because it's hard to plan when we don't know what we have. Right?
So the reason only 25% of the system was covered was because the grant was used up. The
Yeah,
money.
right.
To pay CEI to get this data,
Correct.
it only covered, okay.
Yep, they did
So
as
you
much
need to
as
get
they
this grant
could,
3 more times,
at least, yeah. If we can,
or can you get a bigger grant?
yeah. All right, so they gave us a web app. So, like I was saying, I can view the data that's there, edit the data. I can put in repairs, that kind of stuff. This is a screenshot of what it looks like. We can look at it closer later if you want. You just hover over one of the catch basins or whatever to pop up a window, give you the data that they collected.
So you can build a maintenance schedule, once you have all the data, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, with catch basins, you can
Right.
have a
Right.
routine.
Right, and then once you start tracking them, you're gonna find some of them you never
Yeah.
have to clean. Some of
Right.
them you gotta clean twice a year, right? So that's stuff we want to know, so we can clean the ones that need it twice a year or more often, and stop the flooding.
Just kind of like clarify what she said. You have a maintenance schedule. It's just that you want more information so you can
Right.
do a better job.
Mhm.
Is there a maintenance? I mean. It sounds like, yeah, it's like a
25% of
like a fantasy, you only got 25% of it done this,
Right.
because
So
of personnel.
mostly, yeah. Right. So we try to hit the areas that the guys here have the institutional knowledge, right? They know which areas flood or which ones need cleaning more often. So that's kind of what we'll go with. Well, that's great until those people go away, right? Then the institutional knowledge goes away. So this new system, this data collection here, this will help, especially in the future. Right. So like I said, if you click on something, the windows pop up, you get all the data. So it's a big help. And the other ongoing item was the demonstrations BMP. So we looked at putting it at the high school, right where the yellow circle is. So right out in front of the parking area. Oops, sure.
Am I wrong, or is that a network of solar panels?
That's
Is that what it is?
kind of looks like
Am I
it.
wrong?
Looks
I mean,
like it. I'm not sure.
looks like a grid, that could be solar panels from here, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Who knows? I didn't. Wish I knew.
So we went with probably the least expensive BMP, which is a rain garden. So I have the final plans. Hopefully in the spring I can, save enough money to put it in. And the idea is to try to work with the high school students, maybe the science class, senior and junior science class, or maybe they can help with some of the plantings or choosing some of the plants that go into it.
So why was that location chosen?
Now, CEI did a aerial survey. They used a drone.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty neat, and worked out pretty good. That was a good spot for it, and it's right where a lot of people are going to see it. And that's the idea of the demonstration.
Oh, it's a demonstration. It wasn't
Right.
chosen because of need.
Right.
Well,
Well,
probably a
it'll,
combination, but I remember having discussions
Yeah.
in previous meetings 7 months ago.
yeah,
And visibility was an issue.
yeah,
I don't want to get people to see what
right,
the best management practices are.
right. Right, so obviously, anybody who goes to the school will see it, town meetings, that's where you go
Yes,
into the
I don't know
building,
if
so
that's
people will
the-
see it.
Oh.
Yeah, part of it is putting a little kiosk and, put an explanation of what it is and how it works.
This is
and why.
small scale then.
But it
Do we-
fills our requirements to do it.
Do we have thoughts, like, assuming that this being a demonstration, part of it is kind of exposing the public to it and drawing up support for like future endeavors. Do we have like suggested locations already, or places where we're thinking like, if this is successful, then this is where we go next, or?
Yes and no, yes.
Okay.
When I just did a request for capital funds and I had 3 locations where I wanted to put in stormwater BMPs.
Okay.
And those were based on, people calling me up, saying, I'm getting flooded here, you gotta help me out.
Sure.
So,
Is there space there? Is there property there that you can put one on?
which ones?
Any of the
Oh, yeah.
3 you talked about?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
I know that's.
Yeah.
When we talk about flood, that's been an issue.
Yeah,
Where to.
the
where
issue
to-
there
where
is
to put that
where to
water.
put the water, yeah. All right,
I
that's,
just think it's fun, because I know that seeing, that aerial shot of the school and the bit of the field there.
Yeah.
That's come up a lot, and that came up in capital planning too, the drainage problem at the field, and
there are problems there.
there are.
That's what I had for updates for you.
So we have to have this demonstration,
Yeah, as part of the permit, yes,
and you're thinking this is for the spring?
yes.
That's what we're targeting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Part of our job, I suppose, being funding, what's the, where is that coming from? The demonstration BMP.
That come out of the DPW budget,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
operational budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have that stormwater line item in the budget, so I'll use that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, unless anybody else has any questions, I guess we'll close up there for now. We'll move on to our next agenda item. And I think from here, our next is what are we going to, what are our items for the next meeting? I think the one major thing we've had so far is reaching out to other towns for what was their process. Did you email so that's been sent,
Yeah,
so we've
yeah, you
got
should
something
have
we
that.
can have a look at.
That's just
Great.
one recent one.
Sure.
I haven't watched it, so I can't promise it, but.
It's 2 hours. I'm sure it's got something of value.
Oh.
Maybe one thing. Okay. Do we have anything else that we are should be or want to be headed towards for next meeting?
And so in response to that September 11th storm, are there any like outstanding issues that still need to get resolved?
Yeah, there's a couple areas where we haven't fixed the edge of the road, that, you know, the areas that weren't as bad, so there's a couple of small areas.
Okay. My impression is after looking what happened to Munster, that either we've got our stormwater kind of sort of under control, or maybe we're at a higher elevation and we just don't have a problem.
I think we dodged a bullet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I don't know, whether it was something right or we were lucky.
They got 11 inches of rain and we got 7, is that right?
Yeah. Right, Gibson Street is on the Leominster line, right? And that was my worst area.
What about the most recent storm?
Not so much washouts. We had electric ave flooded again. Right, but again, due to
Hopefully,
beavers.
yeah.
Hopefully we got that solved.
And how much is the snow when the snow melts? How does that compare to a 4-inch rainstorm, 3-inch rainstorm?
Well, usually the snow
should be
is
more
slow.
gradual.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get a good rainstorm on top of snow and it's warm, then you'll get flooded then.
And that flooding is mostly from drains being blocked from snow or, you know, covered, whatever.
That and too much water, not enough pipe. You know, pipes just aren't big enough to handle it.
Because I've seen even the lake is up. It was coming over the dam.
Yeah.
It's at least stopped coming over the
I
dam,
think
but
that
it's still
being on the
coming through
dam
the
committee.
siphons. Yeah,
We try very hard to control the level of like.
I know,
just
this
have
year
our
was-
hands up and just-
this year was,
So
but it's
the
come
Memphis-
way up from the low.
Yeah, it was 48 inches
the
down
dam.
from the top of the boards. And it came to the top of the dam, which is 18 inches below, so we lost 30 inches.
Wow.
With the last couple of
And
rainstorms.
it's still coming out the siphons.
Yeah, well, it's gonna come out the siphons first until we shut them off, but it's not coming over the top of the dam anymore, so it's a trickle right now. So the siphons are beginning to actually match the inflow from all the tributaries of the Memphis. So now we're gonna start to slowly.
It should start going back down again.
So maybe by the
It's
end of
come way
January,
up.
if we're lucky, we'll get back down to 48.
It's just, I mean, I'm hearing people all over just seeing water. Just,
Yeah, that's beginning to be my number one call. You know, it used to be trees and then you know, vegetation growing on the side of the roads. Those are probably 1 and 2, but now it's stormwater is number 1.
We just finished like half a million dollar on the house before we moved into it. Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah.
You know how much I spent on drainage? Probably what, 30,000-40,000.
Yeah.
I did not want to wet basement. I did not want to flood my kitchen. Water is leaching, and we're at the bottom of the hill right before we get to the lake.
Yeah.
And the water from the hill kind of leaches out the side of the hill and forms little tributaries, and it kind of just builds up and it kind of washes them.
Right.
And it gets into the basement and creates mildew. We had to get rid of all the mold and mildew part of them.
it's not just the flooding, it's like you said, it's all the stuff that the water carries with it. From the roads into whatever body of water it finds.
So did you know that we don't use sand anymore when we treat our holes?
Right.
We don't use sand.
No. Straight salt. Sand doesn't do much for maybe a little traction, maybe. It doesn't melt snow,
No.
right?
I see that we
And then
use-
you gotta sweep it up and it's gritty, so you're
Yeah.
wearing out your roads, you're wearing out your pipes.
It's bitterly cold.
Yeah.
This talk doesn't too long, but the sand will. It'll give us something.
You might get a little traction, yeah.
It's not even a salt sand mix, because I know some places do like a mix of salt sand.
Right. Not anymore. Used to be.
What is that? What do you treat the roads with just before it starts snowing? It's some kind of
We don't do it
Liquid.
here, MassDOT does it.
They
It's-
use magnesium chloride. Is their main like pre-ice spray treatment.
Okay, so it's like a salt
Mhm.
solution.
Yeah.
Okay, and that just stops the from
Bonding, yep,
Okay. And who does that? Is it we that do that, or is it the state that does that?
state,
And they do it on the state roads?
right. Right, it's something we probably should look at, because it helps. Right, so when you're fighting snow, if you fight it from bottom up,
Mhm.
it's easier than top down. Top down costs 5 times as much, because now everything's bonded to the road. They've done a lot of studies on that. It just takes so much longer. You gotta keep plowing, you gotta keep salting,
It beats up the road too.
it beats
all
up
that
the
plowing.
road, yeah. So you wanna, you wanna
What the heck
get
that
the,
is? That's magnesium chloride, huh?
yeah,
Not potassium chloride, not sodium chloride, magnesium.
They keep them in real big tanks there, and they're super caustic, or like aggressive on everything.
Okay.
the magnesium's not as bad. They used to use calcium, yeah.
Sure.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Eats up the trucks pretty quick.
So, getting to your question,
Oh yeah.
I think the detail, I mean, I just, I feel like I have to start at ground zero,
Yeah.
understanding everything about the utility, let alone the process of how to set one up, but. And then. Do we still work with CEI, or are we done with
We
them?
do, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so we can invite them to a meeting. My thought is, let's invite another town, see how they did it, see how it's working,
uh-huh,
see what it does. And then maybe the meeting after that, invite CEI, and, we might have some ideas then. Of a direction, and see if they can help us with that.
and is CEI a good resource to find out about grants that are available?
So you're gonna research grants?
Me? No, I want CEI to do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I mean, I'm just very sensitive to giving people another utility bill. I mean, just another bill, especially coming off of last year. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, inflation has been bad lately, and to get another bill. Systematic bill that you have no
right,
control over.
but what I've seen is this is not something that can happen quickly at all. I mean, there's a long process to get something in place, but
it would have
doesn't
to go
mean-
through town meeting too, right? So,
oh yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of bills, I think, coming all around water. It doesn't mean just because it's long doesn't mean we shouldn't look into it.
Right,
Start to look into it at least. So do you think our infrastructure is okay to handle? If everything was clean and maintained and worked as expected, do you think we are set up to deal with the kinds of storms we've been seeing?
well.
Given the personnel, we had everything.
The regular storms, yeah, we do okay. The bigger storms, like that's September 11th, that's, what was that, the 50-year storm or something?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I mean, what was this most
That-
recent one? 3 inches?
Yeah. Yeah, most of the roads drainage did pretty well in that storm. Electric Ave was the exception,
No other roads were closed.
none.
As long as I come to this meeting, there haven't been there haven't been people coming in saying, stormwater's an issue on my property, or our street is a train wreck. It hasn't happened. So
You haven't talked to anyone on page.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I get the calls, they're not coming to the task force, maybe they should.
they're not coming to task, but they're
Yeah.
going other places,
Yeah,
and it
I
came
get
up,
the
what was
calls.
it, Sunny Hill Road? There's a,
Yes.
that was, I don't know the latest on that. I was watching that. I watch, try to watch planning board meetings too, but
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that's had what did they have? There's still question about one particular piece of the property. And we expect that they're probably going to abandon that particular corner
okay.
building and just do the three at the bottom.
Cause there was a resident who was complaining that it's already.
Yeah.
Since he's lived there,
Yeah.
it's like a river, it goes through his backyard.
Yeah.
Just from the drainage
Right.
down the hill.
And that's
I spoke with them.
one of
Oh,
the spots
okay.
they wanted to build is basically right down
Yeah,
that
yeah.
chute.
So there are existing issues, I guess
Well-
that's my point.
All
I've
over.
got issues, like, for example, there's icing on the side of the roads in this kind of weather. But they've always attributed that to a groundwater, and that's really not the task, charge of this task.
Right.
force.
Groundwater is, yeah, that is a separate thing.
Right.
That does
Yeah,
exist.
like Lancaster Ave, it's always bleeding out,
Yes,
right?
yes, Lancaster is the worst offender market.
Yeah,
A little bit on two-way, yeah.
But when someone says it's going through their backyard when it rains, you know, they have like a river running through their yard. Some of that is, the ground just can't take up what it used
Right.
to because it's already, the groundwater is higher.
It's saturated.
yeah, this year,
The
nothing
sponges
dried
slope.
out. Right? So some of the storms, right, couldn't get into the ground, it just ran off.
Okay. So do you have a number in your head of just ballpark for an enterprise fund? Like what kind of,
Well,
what you would like your budget line to be for stormwater?
well, based on my numbers,
Yeah.
like I said, we're approaching 200,000, we could start with that, that's a start.
So you had 100,000 for 6 months, and you're projecting another 100,000 for the next 6 months. So that's,
Yeah.
250,000. That's what he's talking about, just for starters. If you
Yeah.
want, if you want to do some of the, if you want to expand the scope of it, then you can actually start to address some of these other issues that people have.
That's just to stay afloat. That's just to keep up with.
Yeah,
That was a bad thing.
That's fine.
maybe, pay for another person so I can. I
But
can
that
have
wouldn't
it-
come out of an enterprise fund.
It could. Why not?
Would it?
I think that's what other towns do.
Taxpaying residences are 55,000 more or less in town. No,
I think so.
We have about 10,000, 11,000 population, so if there's on.
And so, yeah, it's about up to
So that's
12.
about $50 per household per year.
But we also have to consider commercial,
Oh,
I
sure.
think.
Right, and they'd probably pay a lot of that, or a lot more.
So all I'm saying is
So,
that 100,000 is probably 25, it's already in the budget. So if you just take that line and amount and put it in a separate budget, you're already paying that, so it's in a different place. And you double it, that's $50 per household per year. That's not crippling.
Mhm. Okay. But you have someone in mind? Sorry, you mentioned Chelmsford, I think, is that?
yeah, I was thinking calling them, they're not too far away, and they seem to be
You know someone there?
established pretty
Okay.
well. Not really, but
Oh.
just make a phone call,
Okay.
there's a few names on the website, so. It looks like they have their own stormwater engineer and a stormwater superintendent and a stormwater equipment operator.
What is the stormwater equipment operator?
Well, it's somebody for sweeping and catch basin cleaning, so
You have
that's
to have
their
equipment to
primary.
operate.
Right, well, I have a sweeper, I have a catch basin cleaner, but I don't have people to put in them all the time, because we're doing everything else. So if I have somebody that's their kind of dedicated job, we're not gonna be pulling them out of there all that much. We can leave them in that equipment pretty much full time. That'd make a big difference.
So what was the catch basin? truck do you ask for? A vacuum truck,
In the,
capital plan.
In the
You don't want
capital
to
plan? no, clamshell type. About half the cost, or less than half the cost of a vacuum
My
truck.
memory was the vacuum truck was very, very expensive.
Yeah, like 500,000 and up.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been using them a little bit. They're $2,500 a day.
Renting vacuum trucks.
Yeah, to have a contract to come in. Yep, that's the cheap one. That's the cheap contract.
Is it so efficient that it's worth it, the money that you pay for it, or is it just?
Oh yeah,
that truck?
no, it's like over at Electric Ave, right? It had the jetter
Yeah,
and the
yes.
vacuum, right? So we're jetting, we're sucking things out. It worked really well for us.
You're sucking one soccer heater, so true, that is big.
No, they attached a cable onto the jet, and the jet made it through. Then they put a big hook on the end of the cable and pulled it with the backhoe, pulled everything out.
I like that. You see the video, somebody like dragging the tire through the
Yeah,
little culvert.
It's
Yeah, those are fun.
very similar. Yeah, we had a big steel hook. It
What is the diameter of that? pipe?
was probably an 18-inch.
Just a bit of clarification for me on something you said. So one of the main benefits of having this enterprise fund is like if we have people hired to it, like that's their job. The main issue we had with personnel, this is like they've got so many other jobs. We've got somebody through this fund that is hired, like that's it. They're just on catch basins, cleaning them out. Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be their primary focus. I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
that. I'm not
it's-
gonna grab them, use them somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will, but
Okay,
their
that makes a
primary
lot of
job every day is gonna be, something stormwater related.
Yeah. So at the very least, like just having that fund allows us to have a better maintenance than we do now, because what we do now is always, beholden to the winds of not
Right.
winds, but everything else that's going on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so right now, like I said, I have a sweeper, I have a catch basin cleaning truck, and we got a new roadside mower. So that's gonna be 3 guys every day.
Yeah.
Well, right now I have, my crew is the superintendent and 4 guys. I'm
Hmm.
down 1. So that's only gonna leave the superintendent and 1 guy
Yeah.
to do everything else we need to do. And sometimes you can't do a job with 2 guys.
Well, you can't mow year round.
No. No, but come springtime, that's when you wanna do a lot of this, so. We're gonna have 3 pieces of equipment tied up. It's an awful lot.
And how often do you sweep? How often do you have to sweep those?
So the plan calls for sweeping all the roads, 100%, some roads more, twice a year.
How many miles of roads do we have?
About 100.
It's just pretty amazing how much debris that sweepers collect. It's staggering.
Yeah,
They'll
especially some of the roads that haven't been touched in a while.
We put 1/4 of a road in with a dump truck.
Mhm.
It's
And then where does that go?
Over to the landfill. Um, On the Youngest Road, right? We're allowed to dump it there.
So when do we meet?
I think it's supposed to be every third Thursday.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Once a month.
Once a month, yep.
Yep.
That's what? 18th?
I'm sorry, you said the 18th?
Yep.
Okay.
7 o'clock,
Same time, same place?
same place.
Sure.
I may be out of town, but I file.
Not the technology, we might as well use it.
Yeah, I wanted to meet you guys in person, so I asked for people to come.
So you're gonna send out the agenda for this meeting?
Yes, I will need to talk to and find out how and where to make and send. the
Gotta do it
agenda.
at least 2 days.
Yeah, it has to-
That's all I have to say. I lost track how many meetings I canceled because what episode did.
It goes to,
What, Adam left and we just kind of like fell apart for a month
Yeah.
or so.
it goes to Kathy and Ellen
Uh,
in the town clerk's office.
Kathy and Ellen. And assumedly, I just send them like, here are the things we want on our agenda, and they'll.
I-
I
Let's
tell you,
just like that.
I did that, I lifted the agenda from that Richard
Oh,
had
yeah.
set up and
Yeah.
just added what you want.
Okay, great, there's a
Mhm.
template.
I don't know if that,
Yeah.
I made one, I don't know if that's the,
Sure,
That's what they all look like to me.
I was just
That's-
determining whether we need to send them the items or the agenda itself. Is
yeah, the
itself.
agenda itself, cause then they'll just post it at
Yeah.
town hall and, Ellen puts it on the website.
Okay, if everybody can access the OneDrive,
Yeah,
if you have anything for the next meeting, like whoever you've contacted, whatever information collected, assumedly, drop it in there, and let me know and I'll compile everything and get our agenda out before the next meeting. And unless somebody has anything, I think that's it for us tonight.
you'd have to get a Zoom link too, that's the other. thing.
Yes, okay, so.
But I don't know, I contacted Heidi, I don't know, do you normally do that? No,
I think
Okay.
Adam used to do it.
yeah, should we, who's our consultant, what's his name? Mr. Harris something,
Oh,
Richard?
yeah, Rich, something.
Do we ever involve him in
That's-
Adam's
That's a
absence?
good
Oh.
question. I didn't actually think of that. Yeah, I'll ask him.
I mean, he's a
Find out.
consultant, I don't know how that works, I mean.
Yeah,
In terms of how much of his time we have, what kind of agreement we have with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
not sure either.
I don't know if we, I don't know if we need him, I only bring it up because I know Adam was coming.
Yeah. No, I mean, if we've got people that might have useful information, then we might as well check. I assume I have to close this with a motion? Is that a thing?
I moved to adjourn.
Second it.
All right, all in favor?
I.
Aye. All right, we did it.
We could.